How's it going, Dave from Comic Book Investments? So I cannot believe how much the very first PSA graded comic book sold for. Yes, that's right. A PSA graded comic book has finally sold. And you won't believe what it sold for. Before I do, if you want to win this book over here, the Spider-Man 300, all you have to do is go over to collectorscomics.com and enter the giveaway. No purchase necessary. All you literally have to do is click the button, enter. If you don't have an account, obviously you have to sign up. That's how we get a hold of you. But that's how you win this book over here. Head over to collectorscomics.com. We also have a huge featured auction going on right now. Ends this weekend. Tons of good stuff like Fancy 15s, Hulk 181s, Giant Size X-Men, Golden Age, Silver Age, Bronze Age, Variant Moderns, stuff like that. So head over to collectorscomics.com. All right, so PSA, if you may or may not know, is generally a card grading company. They've existed since the 90s. Now, they've recently got into comic books, but they haven't officially started taking submissions. From what I know, they're supposed to be taking submissions the end of the year, so probably around December or January. That's tentatively when they're going to start actually taking in customer submissions. But they did grade a few comic books at the San Diego Comic-Con. Now, these comic books were specifically made for the San Diego Comic-Con, so they are an exclusive. And they graded them in their case, but they didn't give them like a number grade, like a 9.8, 9.6. They said authentic because these are technically prototype PSA cases for comic books. So they had a whole booth dedicated and all that kind of stuff. And as you may or may not know, my dad is now the head of the comic book division over at PSA. So he got hired there, a few months back or something. So now one has finally sold from that. And it's not even the rarest one. So they had multiple different rarities. They had one of ones, one of fives, one of tens, I think one of 20s, and then one of like probably 50s or something. I don't know the exact scale it goes up, but different rarities. And this one wasn't even the rarest one. So if we look at this picture here, we can see this is the different rarities. Now this one is the orange one. This is the one that sold. This orange Green Goblin variant cover. And if you look down here, if you look at the Green Goblin down here, you can look at the rarity, and orange is pretty not rare. Like the black is a 1 of 1, the gold is a 1 of 5, the silver is a 1 of 10, and then I'm not really sure what it goes up to there. I think it goes up to 1 of 100. So the orange is probably a 1 of 50 or something like that. But now we get to see for what it sold for. Any guesses out there what you think it sold for? Now, they gave out a lot of these. They weren't, it wasn't, it was uncommon. Let's say it's uncommon, but it's not like these are super, super rare. And so this was the first one that sold. It sold for $690. That's right, $690, which is kind of crazy. Now, from what I gather, I'm not 100% sure. From what I gather, the way it worked was you went to the booth. I believe the first 50 people of that day could buy a pair of shoes. And the pair of shoes later were sold. They were about, I think, $150, I think is what you could buy the shoes for. And in the shoes, I believe, came one of the comic books, and you don't know what you got. Or you either got like a certificate where you mailed it away and they mailed you a comic book. I can't remember exactly how it goes. But those shoes would sell for about, I seen them sell for about $800 to $1,200 online. So you pay $150, you're getting about a $1,000 shoe, and now you're getting one of these, and you don't know what you're going to get. You could get one of the common ones, that's probably less than this, or you could get maybe the 1 of 1 or the 1 of 5, and it'd be worth more than this. So I don't even know what these are worth. This is not that super rare, but so I don't know what maybe the 1 of 10 is worth or the 1 of 5. Probably a lot more than that. And so that kind of gives you, this gives you a gauge. There's 30 people that bid on this, so it gives you a gauge on that there are people out there that are willing to buy PSA books. So it does show you that there is a market out there for these books. So it remains to be seen. This is only one book. I would like to see more of these books come on market over the next 6 months until we can actually start sending comic books to PSA to see how the market, feels about them. That's the biggest thing. It's like, how is the market going to feel about them? So far, someone's willing to spend $700 for this book. Now, is it the book itself, or is it the fact that it's in this case? Is it the fact that maybe some people value this prototype case as like kind of cool part of history. I mean, think about it. The first iPhone was just a phone. They made millions of them. If you have it in the original case and plastic and all that kind of stuff, I think it sells for like $50,000. So is that going to be one of these things? Like, oh, you got literally one of these first cases. Imagine having the very first ever CGC case. That's got to be worth something, right, in the community. People like that kind of stuff. So maybe that's pushing up this value of the PSA because it's like, oh, it's kind of like the first case. I don't know. Maybe it's the book itself. I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see if a raw copy of this gets sold. They're all in the case. Someone had to literally crack it out. Or someone cracks it out and sends it to CGC, how much that would sell for this specific comic book. So if it's more or less, that's what it comes down to, is how is the aftermarket going to respond to these cases. So I think that's about it. Have a great day.